Well, welcome once again to Hey Hey 5 and 5. I'm Larry Levin, and today we have the privilege of being with Rabbi Scott Saulson, who is new to St. Louis and engaging in work for B'nai El congregation. Welcome to St. Louis.
Thank you.
We profiled you earlier in the spring and what you would be doing, but maybe not everybody saw that. So tell us a little bit.
Well, not everybody was supposed to see it in Worcester.
Tell us a little bit about your work with B'nai El. So.
I'm here for 1 year as an interim rabbi, which is a position that has drawn special attention and support from the Central Conference of American Rabbis over the years. I think following the model of many church organizations, to provide a breathing space for congregations that are going through major transitions, either following upon the departure of a rabbi who's been there a long time. And I believe that B'nai El went a year without any rabbinic leadership, but was well supported by Dan Brodsky, who's a cantorial soloist, and decided to take the advice of I don't know whom to have an interim rabbi to help them sort out their vision and decide what they're going to do down the road.
Now, this is a part-time interim gig.
Yeah, this is part-time. I had a full-time previously, so it will allow me to spend more time at home, and it will also allow me to help other congregations. I've been asked by B'nai Torah and St. Peter's if I would help them out monthly on a Friday night when I'm not at B'nai El.
Now, you've done so many things, from serving congregations to being a chaplain in the community. What's given you the most satisfaction in a very multifaceted career?
Actually, my last year.
Your last interim gig. So talk about why that is.
Well, it was special. Unlike most interim positions, where one is a placeholder till the congregation can find a successor. This is a congregation who came to realization of many things that they probably knew, but not really knew about their congregation and the demographic changes in their financial picture. I helped the congregation understand where its role was in the community, and now that congregation is reuniting with the congregation from which it split 50-some-odd years ago. Under completely different circumstances. So instead of just holding the fort until somebody could be found, I was working in a very, very exciting atmosphere with a lot of creativity and a lot of dynamism up until the day I left. To see a change that takes place within a relatively short period of time, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, in the history of a community, even though it was bubbling for many years, that really was a blessing to me. So I don't know what's going to happen here in St. Louis, but I am of the opinion that the challenges that B'nai El faces are only the tip of the iceberg. Maybe it's actually the iceberg itself of the challenges that American Judaism is facing, and no doubt St. Louis Jury is facing.
And let's talk about that, because obviously as you look at B'nai El, relatively small congregation, similar in size to the one you've recently worked with, I think.
Smaller.
Smaller.
And older in terms of demography.
We're going to see all sorts of different solutions. How do congregations learn to accept that they need to look at things from a changed perspective? That's a very hard cultural phenomenon.
3 parts. One, you're always going to have a group of people who are willing and able to see the facts and are not going to hide from them. The other part of it is the realization by some people that whatever the old and tried and true way has been is not working. So, as you say, a new model needs to be created. The third part is really a matter of faith.
Believing you can get to the finish line?
Believe you can, or at least you're going to make a stab at it. Right. There comes a point there will be no turning back. Whatever that decision will be, there'll be no turning back, in my view. And that's where the faith comes in.
When you look at your other work outside the rabbinate with your moving parents and your helping with family transitions, and now you look at congregational transitions, you think it's coincidental that you ended up in kind of that paradigm? in the synagogue world along with your other practice?
It actually allowed me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it allowed me to do that.
Because you're looking at kind of institutional change and you're looking at individual change.
Well, it's never an individual change. It's always within the context of usually a family or a caregiver. So it's trying to get everybody on board. And that way it's still applicable to my work now.
I wish you the best in the coming year. I hope
Thank
it all
you.
goes well. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for visiting with us.
It's my pleasure.
And we'll see you next time once again on Hey Hey 5 and 5. Thanks for watching. Thanks to our producer Aggie Gallagher. Take care.